Good evening, everyone. It being 5:30, August 25th, I would like to call this regular council meeting to order. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone. I also want to say it's not very often that we have a council meeting, and it happens to be one of our council members or staff members' birthday, but I do want to recognize that it is Miss Peg Phillips' birthday today. So everyone say, happy birthday, Peg. And many more.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
I'm so
you.
happy to be here with you tonight.
There you go. What a birthday present, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember Abel.
Here.
Councilmember Nutter.
Here.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Here.
Councilmember Hilst.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoheimer. Here. Mary Burris.
Here. Having a quorum, we will conduct business. Chair would now entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that the agenda, I move to make a motion to approve the agenda excluding business item, new business item 8.7 be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Abel. Any comments, questions, or concerns? So 8.7 will be removed. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 7-0. Chair would now entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular city council meeting, special meeting, July 18th, 2025, regular city council meeting of August 11th, 2025, and special meeting minutes, council meeting and minutes of August 16th, 2025 be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Ms. Phillips. Any questions from council on the 3 approval of minutes? Seeing none, council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-1. We have now
One
come to...
abstain.
601.
Oh, you know what, Rick, thank you very much. I apologize.
I
So-
abstained on that because
Yeah.
I wasn't at all those meetings, so I just didn't figure I'd vote on the minutes of
Well,
it.
thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't even look up right. So it is 6-0 with 1 abstain. I stand corrected. Thank you. We have now come down to public input. Anyone from public wishing to have their voice be heard, please come to the podium. Make sure it is on. And a reminder that you have 5 minutes. And state your name.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Terry Gambetti, and my business partner, Bailey Gambetti, would have been here tonight, but she's home with a new sweet baby girl.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We wanted, as you know, to purchase a building downtown, to renovate it, to bring in more traffic downtown, to put it back on the tax rolls. And we bought the iconic Arlington building at 437 Court Street. And Mr. Fletcher, the building was not at all in the same condition when we purchased it as it was when you had it years ago. You knew, okay.
Unfortunately, I do know that.
Yeah. So it took a while, longer than we expected. But we're here to thank the council for the TIF grant that you awarded us. And we would not have done it without the TIF grant, and we could not have done this renovation project without Josh Ray and Nick McQuett. They have extreme amount of expertise in this area. They were kind, helpful, and showed a lot of patience with a blonde and a redhead renovating a 130-year-old building downtown. It was quite a journey, and we're relieved that we have very few items left from the inspections that were completed last Friday. And those items will be, a lot of them have been done already, a few more yet to be done in the next few days. Through this project, we did find a silver lining, and the water lines were actually cut to the building a few years ago. Didn't know it until we tried to turn them on a month or so ago. And we found that Illinois American Water Company has a grant available to bring new water lines to old decrepit buildings. So our hope is that we can work with them to bring the right size line to the north side of the street. Currently, south side is where the water lines are, so that we can work with the business owners to make sure that it's large enough to be able to install a fire suppression system for our buildings downtown, which is very important. We know we want to be able to sprinkle those. So I want to thank you all so very much. We're glad we're almost there. We're done. And please stop by, give me a holler. I'll take you through and show you the building. Looks a lot different. than
Didn't know it
did.
was that far. Very good.
Thank you so much.
So if you're done speaking, I have a question for you.
Sure.
But I don't want to take your time.
No
So
problem.
if it is, this grant is going to take it to the north side, then will that help the other businesses, or is it only for your building?
Oh, no. That is our hopes. We understand that the line that they are supplying through the grant is not large enough to host the fire suppression system that's necessary. It's a larger line, I think, 6-inch. But there's certainly a hope there that we can work with the business owners in Illinois American Water to do an upcharge to get that 6-inch line there. We did go out for bid. We wrote a grant a few years ago, didn't get it to be able to do this. And we did go out for bid, and we have a really good price of installation into the buildings once we get that line to the frontage of the building. And it's affordable. And there are either 13 or 14 businesses on the north side that are interested, that were when we wrote the grant a couple years ago. So our hopes are that we can finish that process and get those buildings sprinkled.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. I know
Thank
it's
you
not
so
been easy,
much.
but we appreciate it, and I thank the staff working with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else from public?
Yes, hello, good evening. Mayor,
Good evening.
council members, my name is James Erickson. I live in the Sunset Hills Golf Course neighborhood, and I have a little bit of a concern of the way they've been managing their business over there. On Friday, July 25th, Sunset Hills held a party at the golf course event tent, and at the end of the tournament party, there was a live band playing music at a loud level throughout the evening and into the night. At about 11:10 p.m., I called the Pekin Police to register a complaint. As I understand, there's an ordinance limiting loud music to end at 11 p.m. After the officer had a conversation with somebody at the event, I had a chance to talk with the officer. He told me there was no golf course management present. The only person the officer spoke with was a band member who stated that the band had a contract to play music till midnight, and that was what they were going to do. Not only was there a loud band playing there was equipment set up to create a very high-intensity light show in the area just outside of the tent. As I was talking with the officer, he also stated that the current owners of the golf course were trying to sell the business, In my opinion, that's no excuse for ignoring city rules and regulations, and other neighbors in the area and the neighborhood feel this is not conducive to a quiet neighborhood as well. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you very much. I will tell you that Mr. Dossi is taking notes, so can I say you'll get back with his complaint, or what? You will be hearing from the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again.
You're welcome. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if you guys remember me. I'm the New Yorker that proclaimed his love for Pekin here last month.
There you go.
I still love Pekin.
There you go.
And I'm not here to talk about homeless people tonight.
Okay.
Although I do want to come back and talk about incorporating some ideas like neighborhood watches and how do I get my neighbors to take interest in that. That's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here because I still love Pekin. I have a beef with the city of Pekin.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything you guys can do about it, but I'm going to tell my story. Last year in May, my 1-year-old dog slipped the gate, got out of my yard. It was late at night. She got around the corner onto 4th Street, 2nd Street, and got hit by a pickup truck just south of Sheridan. I saw it on a neighbor's doorbell camera. It was painful. From there, she managed to run all the way to Pekin Park and ended up in the lagoon. Somebody in the park fortunately saw her and called, I would imagine, the police, who in turn called the park police. One guy from the park police, while rescuing her, got bit in the hand. I'm sorry, I don't know who he was. I apologize the best I could. So, no harm, no foul, I guess. Cost me a lot of money to get my dog fixed up. She's back to normal. Now she's 2 years old. And she's a great dog, good family dog. The problem is the city of Pekin put a $5,100 lien on me for workman's comp for this guy that got hit and bit in the hand. I turned it into my insurance like I was told to. I told them, do not pay this. I want an investigation. I want to know, was he wearing gloves? Was he following the proper procedure to rescue an injured animal from water? As a park police officer, was he even qualified to do this rescue instead of it being animal control doing it? But regardless, he got bit. My insurance company paid the lien, and now they're dropping me. And I found out in trying to find a new insurance company, nobody will write me homeowners until I kill my dog and prove it. Except one company in California with a no animal liability, meaning if somebody breaks into my house and she bites that guy and he presses charges or whatever, I'm on the hook without any insurance. It's also going to put my homeowners up about $1,300 a year. Now, I don't know if Pekin can do anything about this, but this is what happened. I feel the city should have liability on their workers. My company does. I got savagely attacked by a pit bull. I can show you the scars. Never missed a day's work. We didn't file anything against that homeowner. We just basically got an apology and said, if I go to the hospital, you're paying my bills. He agreed. The other thing, and this is neither here nor there, a couple months ago, I was in Casey's on North Main and Edgewater, and there was a Pekin Park police officer in there. And he's a canine guy, and we got to talking about dogs and males and shepherds, and I said, hey, you'll know my dog, and I told him the story. He said, you know that guy hasn't gone back to work yet? He is milking this for everything he can get out of it. That's a city employee who's screwing you guys on workman's comp and not going back to work. And again, I don't know how bad this dog bite was. My dog was 1 year old, she was injured, and she was being rescued from the lagoon. You know what the drop-off is into the water. She wasn't climbing out of there. And I'm out of homeowners now unless I'm willing to risk my dog never bites anybody and spend an extra $100 a month on my mortgage, minimum. So that's my story. And next time I come back, we'll be a lot more optimistic and we'll talk about great things for the city of Pekin. But I did want to get this off my chest tonight.
Did you say that the officer that rescued your dog was a Pekin police officer
He was
or
a-
Pekin Park District?
Park police officer.
Okay, that wouldn't be a city employee.
Yeah.
That's not a city employee?
That'd be a
No,
park.
no, that's park.
Okay, I apologize
That's all
then.
right.
I've been
That's
under a different thought. But even so, wouldn't they have liability on their workers? I mean, does this even seem normal to you guys? Does
Mayor,
this
I
seem
don't-
legit?
Yeah.
Just to kind of answer, yes, it's Pekin Park District Police would be, and they have their own board, like city council, that you can
Yeah.
go and air your grievance with them on that, or talk to the director at the park district in regards to that. We can't answer
Yeah,
on
I was gonna
what
say,
they
we really
should or
can't
shouldn't
Well,
do,
then-
that, yeah.
what
Oh,
liability.
my hot air was kind of
Yeah.
wasted, but not really. At least I learned something. But anyhow, still love Pekin.
Thank you so much. We do too. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening.
Good
I'm Amy
evening.
McCoy with the Pekin Area Chamber of Commerce, and I just once again wanted to thank the city staff for all of their help with the final downtown street party.
You threw an amazing party.
I cannot take credit, but
Oh, yeah.
all of your staff should take credit. Definitely a collaborative effort. It was a great show. I would venture to say there were thousands in attendance, and thankfully we'll have an estimate of those numbers very soon with our relationship with Discover Peoria and their reporting
Very nice.
capabilities. So super excited about that, but just want to again say thank you for everybody, to everybody that assisted. I think every single department touched the event in some way, so appreciate all of you very much. And then also, Pekin Marigold Festival, Miss Marigold has been crowned. The medallion is hidden, and the first clue was released today, and so here we go. So follow PekinMarigoldFestival.com on the website or Facebook and learn all the things happening in our great community in the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amy, for everything you do for our city.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Brett Haley. This is my first time doing anything like this, so forgive any nerves. I have kind of an idea that's just in very small infancy and wanted to bring it to you guys.
Okay.
I know that there is a lot of homeless addicts here, or are a lot of homeless addicts here. And I've had an idea that maybe there could be a parcel of land segregated away for a couple of sober living facilities, one for intake, one for mainstays. It would give these people not only a physical address to be able to seek part-time jobs, but it would also help till that parcel of land to potentially do a big urban garden project that could feed local food banks and produce some produce for local schools to have healthier lunches. Other thing that I also was wanting to talk to you guys about is the potential for turning the lights back on at the skate park at night. Just because I myself am a skateboarder.
That's Park again.
Oh,
Yep,
sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
that's all
just
right.
heard that from him, but.
I know. You know
Yeah.
what? We're lucky to have a beautiful park right in the middle of our city, but
Yeah.
it is their entity.
Yeah, so any knowledge that I could be given or directions I could be pointed in for the other thing that I wanted to speak about would greatly be greatly be of help. And so, just any advice or directions I could be pointed in for potential for land grants, anything to get that project maybe started out of the idea infancy into more of a physical realm would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, so just like I said to the other individual speaking, Mr. Dossi, probably Joshua Ray, is also taking notes. So I would hope that either you get with him, or do you know how to get a hold of this gentleman as he leaves?
If he wants to,
All
yeah,
right.
we'll give him a card.
All right, we'll make sure you have one of the city staff's card that will give
Awesome.
you an email, and then
Yeah.
you guys can start coordinating.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You guys have a great night.
You too.
And thank you again for turning in my phone. I left it outside and he was kind enough to turn it in.
Nice. Any other from the public wishing to have their voice be heard? Seeing none, public input is now closed. We have now come down to the consent agenda. Chair would entertain a motion, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that the consent agenda consisting of 6.1 financial report through July 31st, 2025, 6.2 accounts payable paid proof list through August 15th, 2025, 6.3 Police Department monthly statistics, July 2025, 6.4 receive and file letter of cancellation from Alder Energy regarding solar development at the Pekin Municipal Airport, 6.5 receive and file 2025 minimum/maximum additional billing, 6.6 ordinance number 4331-25/26, amending the Pekin City Code, Chapter 4, Article 3, Division 9 regarding off-street parking and loading, Case ZTA 2025-03, and 6.7 ordinance number 4332-25/26, amending Pekin City Code, Chapter 4, Article 3, Division 11 regarding solar energy systems, Case ZTA 2025-04 be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Hoheimer and second by Mr. Abel. Any comments, questions, or concerns from the council?
Yes, I do. So I'd like to make a request to pull 6.6 and 6.7 off that consent agenda and have it moved down under new business.
Second.
So the motion was made to have 6.6 and 6.7 pulled from the consent agenda and put, well, it's going to have to be after the executive session. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Hilst's motion does not, or statement does not need a motion. Under Illinois law, if there is a consent agenda, it can be done by unilateral act asking that it just be taken
Moved.
off. Yeah, so, well, Councilmember Phillips on her birthday was very kind to give a second. It is not needed. Councilmember Hilst asked to have it off. By law, it comes off.
Okay, so if it comes off, both of those will come off and go to the start of new business? Or does it matter to you?
Typically, we put them on the end, but I do not have an opinion one way or another on that. I'm fine wherever you want to throw it.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
wanna
the
go ahead?
idea would be, in one thought, Madam Chair, Councilmember, is to put it at the end because we have different items with different people that have to present. And then, while everyone loves our board meetings, our council meetings, they can extract themselves from the
Yeah.
meeting if they want to leave.
I thought at one previous meeting, we had put it at the beginning of the new business, but ending is perfectly fine. He wants it pulled, we'll put it right at 8:12 and 8:13?
And you can just drop the numbers too, because the coding system that goes on through our very nice technological system keeps the numbers, it doesn't change the numbers when we drop them.
Oh,
So
okay.
It
All
will
right.
be effectively, you're right, Mayor, it'll be effectively 8:12 and 8:13.
Okay.
But it'll read as 6:6 and
6:6 and 6:7, perfect. All right. Mr. Hills, those will be pulled and put at the end after 8:11.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull 6.5.
Oh, excuse me, and 6.5.
I won't second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So should we put 6.5 as 12, 13, 14?
I think that'd be fine.
Are you good with that?
Have no problem with that, just as long as we discuss it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Then those three will be pulled. They will be put at the end of the new business. And anyone else from council? I got to make sure. Council, take your vote, please. I don't know if they, oh, there we go.
Should this be 6.5, 6.6, and 6.7, or are those two different?
No, this is just voting, now that those are pulled, we're voting on the consent that's left.
Right, but it says approved with items 6.6 and 6.7 moved to new business.
Oh,
But the actual right now is.
6.5 was added as well.
6.5, 6, and 7.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, for some reason it's not showing up on the screen, but we have added
You
it.
have it? All right. Is everybody okay with that? They do have it. Okay. Everybody understood that there are 3 that were pulled. Motion passes 7-0. We have now come down to executive session. Chair would entertain a motion for that executive session.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we move to executive session to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, and the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hilst and second by Mr. Nutter. Chair would, or excuse me, council, take your vote. Motion passes 7-0. We are now in executive session for August 25th at 5:55 PM.
In the purposes of, just so it's on there, in the purposes of collective negotiation between the public body and its employees and the setting of personal price for sale of real estate.
Oh, okay. I thought so. Okay. Are you ready, Madam Clerk? She's got her thumb up. All right, we are out of executive and we are back into our regular business meeting. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.1 under new business.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that resolution number 333-25/26, approving articles of agreement between the City of Pekin and Teamsters, Chauffeurs, and Helpers Local Union Number 627, General Employee Unit, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hilston, second by Ms. Hoheimer. I don't believe we have any discussion. Council, take your vote, please. Has everyone voted?
It says your vote has already been cast.
Councilmember Nutter?
Oh, roll call.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Councilmember Phillips?
Aye.
Councilmember Abel?
Aye.
Councilmember Hilst?
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoheimer?
Aye.
And Mayor Burris?
Aye. Motion passes, there it is. Motion passes 6-0 with one abstain. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.2, please.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that resolution number 334-25/26, approving a new City of Pekin brand concept, be approved.
Second.
Oops. Oh, okay. Motion made by Mr. Hilston, second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi?
Mayor, I'm going to ask Josh Ray to speak on this. This has been his project, working with McDaniels, marketing on this, and I'll let him go ahead and run with it.
Mr. Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. Council previously approved an economic development marketing plan with McDaniels, which included in the current fiscal year the development of a new city brand and brand standards that would serve as the foundation for all of our marketing activities over the 3-year plan. Over the last few months, McDaniels has done research and design and presented several logo and tagline options, as well as a brand promise to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. The EDAC, along with other city stakeholders such as the Tourism Committee and others, including an external focus group, have provided multiple rounds of feedback, and the EDAC has ultimately recommended the brand concept included herein as Exhibit A for your consideration. The runner-up concept is also included, should you prefer that one. They were relatively close in preference and rankings. Ultimately, the recommended brand was the one that was most preferred. If a brand concept is approved tonight by City Council, McDaniels will proceed with developing the brand standards manual, and the city will have the ability to do a couple rounds of kind of design tweaks, modifications, if we so choose. But also want to make sure everybody understands that this is just the core concept. This is just the decision point that says, McDaniels, please run with this, create everything from it. There will be iterations of this logo, one for the Riverway Business Park that is kind of specific to that. Like, this isn't the only thing that they're creating. This is just the core concept that they will move forward with if approved. So again, the chosen brand will be incorporated into our city website, all of our marketing materials. It'll be sent to Retail Strategies for their marketing materials for us. So that's kind of the foundation. I know at the beginning of this process, there was a survey for all the stakeholders, and City Council was invited to participate in that. So now we're kind of coming full circle with that and giving some final direction. Randy and Beth are both here from McDaniels Marketing. If you guys would like to speak, I know you've got some handouts for council.
Would you like, come to the podium or your handouts. I will say, I love your place to grow. Love it.
Yeah, we're very excited as well.
Thank you.
Josh, were you going to put that Exhibit A up on screen? Or?
Oh, I didn't, yeah, sorry, I didn't even think about asking Dave to do that.
Okay, but you all have your packets, right? You've seen it? Okay, so it's a very, very, the design's a very strong badge system
It is.
logo, so it's really like really the best way to modernize the current city brand that I think our firm and the committee, as well as all the input that came in, we appreciate that's kind of where we landed, right? So I think it's going to be very efficient to use, and I think it's going to be wonderful. And the whole idea behind the tagline, "Your place to grow," which actually was originally "Your place to shine," but one of the focus group participants from far away in Missouri recommended "Your place to grow." It's actually one of my clients, the Lake of the Ozarks CVB director, has to get some credit.
Very nice.
She looked at the flowers and everything. She's about 48 years old, to give you an idea of the demographic. And she said, you should use grow and not shine. And I'm like, okay. And then you start getting all the different ways you could spin that. Your place to grow your life, your place to grow your business, your place to grow as an individual, your place to grow as a volunteer, your place to grow as a city council member. It doesn't matter the way you want to contribute to this community. And so I wanted to share that again, that stakeholder research, that focus group research is super valuable. We had over 17, I believe, individuals participate, got a lot of good input from people from multiple states that helped the Economic Development Committee proceed with confidence, right? And that's what that is all about. So did you have a chance to read the brand promise, or would you like me to read that for you?
Please read it to everyone.
Okay. Because this is really what brings it full circle, because this is the meaning behind the brand. So this is called Pekin Proud. When you live in a place you love, it's hard to hide your sense of pride. Whether it's the homes that house us, what our manufacturers make, or the trusted teachers that train tomorrow's talent. We are truly proud of the many places and spaces and even greater faces that make Pekin, Illinois great. From the time our town was first settled in 1824, Pekin propelled itself into a powerhouse of agriculture, manufacturing, and insurance. Always evolving, always changing, always thriving, located near the center of Illinois, Pekin is all at once near everything while being like nowhere else. Surrounded by bountiful farms and bordered by the banks of the Illinois River, our urban spaces blend beautifully with natural places, including preserves and flower-filled parks, earning us the title of the Marigold City. And whether your place in Pekin has been a journey of generations or experienced as a new neighbor or a gracious guest, we welcome all and encourage all to be Pekin proud. Pekin, Illinois, your place to grow.
Love it.
It's supposed to make you all fuzzy
It
inside,
does.
right?
It
does me.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I really like it.
okay.
Thank you for all your hard work. Do you
Absolutely.
have something you want to hand out?
Yes, so as Josh mentioned, you guys can share these if you don't mind. Josh mentioned, once you approve the base concept here, we will develop the brand further. So, and I wanted to provide you examples of what that looks like when we express a brand and build out the guidelines. And so what I've just handed out to you are brand guidelines for 3 different communities that we've done brands for, just so you can see an example of what you can expect in the next phase.
Yeah. In terms of the depth, if you're asking yourself, how does that affect
I've actually seen it.
city vehicles? How does it affect signage? The website, we're going to have a session, I think, next week with Civic Plus, and it shouldn't take much to be
Nice.
able to flip the switch on the new brand into that new site. We've drafted a whole new section of text for economic development, and I just got the draft from the writer today for the live section. So that's another part of our project, is to greatly expand that content on the new site and then roll out there with advertising by October is
Very
the
good.
plan. And if you know the plan, we're going to go out and tell our story We have 2 videos that are finished and 1 more in the works, so,
Very good.
all right?
Here,
Any questions that we can answer? about
Well, we
this
just
decision?
had, so for part of our website, we just had new pictures taken of the council and staff,
good.
so that will be all put
Good.
on
We
there.
were
Just
hoping that
today.
was going to
It
be
was
done.
today,
Good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you need
So
to
that-
show the friendly faces to
Absolutely.
work with. We have a
Yeah.
lot of other communities that show all the pictures and the names and the
Mm-hmm.
contact information of their city employees to work with, so that's great, and council.
And then we also just came up with a vision and a mission statement
Oh, good.
as well,
Good.
through our strategic planning.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
The staff worked on it first and then brought
Uh-huh.
it to us, and I think, so, yeah,
Great.
we're rolling right along right
Yes,
with
we
you.
are.
We're growing.
Good, good.
Love it. Any council have any questions for them?
Yes.
Oh, I think Peg started. Sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Peg.
What's wrong with the current one? I like what we've got.
Well, I think that it served its time. We actually did that logo, a number of years ago, but you'll see in the very end, our process now of being able to fully express the brand. I have a brand that is just more modern and appealing, will go a long way towards the success of the marketing plan. So it was just time. Brands have to evolve over time. Yeah, sometimes, but, yeah. But you'll notice that we are building off the colors and a lot of the elements of that logo. We're still including the marigold really, really boldly, where we had some other alternatives that didn't have the marigold in them at all. So we're paying attention to that, and then, of course, the input, even some people that weren't even familiar with the community at all gravitated towards those flower logos.
Very much so.
They did.
To
So,
grow.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay.
Mayor?
Hold on one second. He was next. Oh, go ahead, John.
Didn't the economic development group with a lot of mixed business and all this, didn't they pretty well pick one quite decisively over the other one?
yes, they did. Yeah.
So I'm like Peg. I don't personally see anything wrong with what we had. I understand the branding side, but I did my own survey with people in town, the citizens of Pekin, not anybody out of the state, out of the city, and I know you had your focus groups. The number one comment, and this is out of almost 15, 17, 20 people in the last week, they all want to say, well, why are we changing? Does that logo that we currently have going to bring more business, going to bring more dollars, going to bring anything? And I said, I can't answer that, but I'll ask the question on Monday night because I don't have that answer. I will tell you that what you've brought forward, that the majority of the people said, okay, if we've got to change, the logo that you have here is the one they picked the most.
Good.
15 out of 20 of just
Fair enough. Yeah.
citizens in a vast range of ages, too.
Yeah.
The one comment was, on the logo, the border looks dull. It just looks bland. Need something maybe a little brighter or whatever.
Yeah, we could look at that.
And finally, the last thing is, where we've got the place to grow, is that going to be on this particular like shield or where it's going to go? That's my number one question. Will it be on there?
You can be on there
Okay.
just like that. Yep.
So,
But it can also appear without it at times, too.
okay, so it's an
Yeah.
optional.
Yep.
So Mayor Mary brought up the fact we had a strategic plan where we have, I gotta find it. One of the things in the vision and mission was family, community, and business. So if we have that as a mission, vision statement, and everything else, why would we not do that on here to tie it all in together? And again, I did that survey, and people like that more than anything else. They didn't like the place to grow. So, and again, that's from about 20-plus
Sure.
people. So
Yeah.
that's my community input from people that are interested in what was going on.
Sure.
I don't know that there'd be room for business, family, and
I think your place to grow means all
all
of
of
it
it. I do too.
combined.
What is it?
It's just
Business,
another
family,
way of saying it all.
Like you said.
Community.
Yeah, and the prior slogan was Community Opportunity Home, so it was similar to that. But I think we can incorporate those words, Councilmember Nutter. I think
Maybe as an
definitely.
option to bring back
We're into the
to see what it looks
website,
like.
yeah, and some of the ads, I mean, we can make sure that that's foundational messaging,
Yeah.
right, in everything we do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that input.
My last comment
Uh-huh.
is you made about the website.
Yeah,
So are we waiting on the approval of the branding, the final approval before we implement our new website?
yeah, we delayed that, or at least the city manager delayed that another month to give us an opportunity to launch the website with the new brand instead of the old one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I would like to say,
And to be more cost-effective, it was going to cost us more to do it later than it was just to wait
30 days, 30 more days.
extra time.
Yeah. So I would just like to say, I appreciate their input,
Yeah.
but don't be afraid of change. I think that there are many people out there that love what they see and aren't afraid of change. And I think we're changing Pekin in a good way, I think it's fast growing, and I love the concept. I think it's beautiful.
Clearly hard work.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yep. So any other questions or comments?
So I guess bottom line, what are we voting on?
That brand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're voting to approve this brand concept, and then they will, from
They'll
here.
tweak it or do
create
whatever.
the whole brand standards manual, telling us exactly which colors and which fonts and all those types of things. And they'll, this will be your icon for Facebook and, that kind of stuff. And then that'll be our new brand. So you're voting on essentially this concept. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the absolute final form, if everybody agrees that the border could use a little
Well,
work,
like
that kind
he-
of stuff.
He didn't care for the border a little bit.
We
Yeah.
can do those, but this is the core concept. And so if you want to move in this direction, you would vote to approve the concept, is how I would phrase it.
Anyone else?
Thank you for your hard work.
It does take time. We appreciate it. And the people from another state.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
pretty nice.
Yep. And some former
'Cause
Pekin
Missouri's my home
residents, too. Yeah. There were a few.
Yes.
So, okay.
Seeing none, council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 5-2. Chair would now entertain a motion for, well, first of all, thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate it, we really do. And staff's work. Thank you. Thank you. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.3, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 335-25/26, approving the 2024 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi?
Thank you, Mayor. HUD requires each CDBG entitlement grantee to file an annual performance report stating how the prior year's allocation of funds were used, on what activities, and how those activities align with the 5-year consolidated plan's stated goals. Presented before you tonight is the final consolidated annual performance and evaluation report, the CAPER, for program year 2024. The required 15-day comment period opened on August 11th, 2025, and a public hearing was held at the City Council meeting on August 11th, 2025, notice of which was published in the Peoria Journal-Star on July 30th, 2025. There were no public comments made thus far, but any received before the end of the comment period on August 25th, 2025 will be included in the CAPER as applicable before submitting it to HUD by the end of August. Staff is recommending approval of this resolution, and Josh is available if there's any questions.
Council?
Last meeting.
Okay. Seeing none, council take your vote, please. Motion passes 7-0. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.4, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 336-25/26, approving an intergovernmental agreement with transit services for Greater Peoria, Mass Transit District CityLink be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi, I will turn this over to you again.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Pekin has previously contracted with the Greater Peoria Mass Transit, known as CityLink, to provide public transportation services via an intergovernmental agreement. In short, CityLink agrees to provide the services, provide and maintain the vehicles and other assets, and operate the transportation system, and the city agrees to pay a quarterly fee not to exceed $210,000 in total for the year. The city is also responsible for the maintenance of the bus stops in Pekin. The term of the agreement is through June 30th of 2025. Exhibit 1 to the IGA describes the service to the city, including service Monday through Friday from 7:45 a.m. to 5:40 p.m. The Pekin to Peoria connector route runs 12 times daily. The two Pekin routes each run 11 times daily. CityLink also provides a complimentary ADA transit service anywhere within 3/4 mile of the three routes. And there's some statistics, according to CityLink, of approximately 100,000 rider trips in Pekin annually. The Pekin-Peoria connector route is on time 78% of the time. The Pekin North and South are on time 90% of the time. Staff is recommending approval of this resolution agreement. And I think Eric wanted to talk a little bit about the financial impact. It appears some of the stuff he had put in there did not save into the that section.
Oh, okay, Mr. Dabrowski.
That's correct. Glancing through the packet here, I usually go through the financial impact section and update figures and see, and I look at 8.4 and 8.5, and it looks like those are old numbers. I don't know where they're coming from.
Oh.
The financial impact on this, $220,500 was budgeted for this item.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
$220,500 was budgeted on this item.
I would like to point out, you said that this contract goes through June 30, 25. I believe that should be 26. Is that correct?
That's correct. The service agreement will take us through June of 26.
Okay.
Okay. So does this contract address any of the issues that we have spoke about as far as longer? I know you said 540.
That's going to be a conversation I'm having through Misty and the social worker
Okay.
to work on that.
Okay, thank you.
I got a couple of questions on
Sure.
that. So, I don't have an issue with the route that we run throughout the city of Pekin, back and forth wherever all those bus stops are at. My question's on the routes that we're running from Pekin to Peoria. Why isn't Peoria paying for 50% of that cost for that? Why is the Pekin taxpayers paying for the full brunt of that?
Yeah, they do actually pay for half of it. Like, our cost is reflective of 50% of the cost to run that route, and as written in the agreement.
Okay, so then I'll go into what I was gonna ask next then, which is the dollar amounts. So, there's a lot of language in here about this contract, but I don't really see any broken down itemized line items on what we're actually paying, other than the lump sum of $210,000. So for instance, it says in here, under the cost, number 15, Greater Peoria Mass Transit variable costs associated for each connector mile to the city of Pekin shall be tabulated and discounted by 50%. But it doesn't give you what the cost of a connector mile is. So we don't even know what to deduct the 50% off of. Down there a little bit below that, it talks about the 65% operating cost grant money they get from that downtown grant funding, or downstate grant funding, I'm sorry. But there's no dollar amounts attached to any of that. Where's our 65% discount if they're getting that? I just don't see the dollars in here to be able to put any of this together. And now that you're telling me Peoria pays for half of those routes from Pekin and Peoria, it'd be nice to see that on here somewhere too.
Yeah, I think we can certainly get the raw financial information from CityLink. My understanding from the past couple of years is that their total cost ends up exceeding 210, and number 6 right there says that we will be charged a maximum of 210, regardless of everything above it. So we budget 210, and that's what we pay. But I don't foresee any challenge if you'd like the details on what the actual numbers are.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see those myself before I vote on it, but I mean, that's just my own personal opinion.
So are we being billed quarterly? And we're up to date? What? Okay, because there's been times they didn't send an invoice, or then it's 6 months after the contract ended.
That's correct.
So, they haven't, I would say, been diligent to getting their money, which I don't have a problem with, but then when it's catch-up after the fiscal year, that's another story in itself.
And we know the dollar amount in question, so we could always reach out and pretty much cut them the check and
Yeah,
see where it goes.
I know it's.
The big problem is, just making sure that we're able to capture everything in the fiscal year. I mean, we know what the dollar amount's gonna be based off of those, so.
So another aspect in here, and I know this might sound mute, but it's an ugly mess in front of the courthouse, all the oil and debris and everything else that's on the ground. That falls under the city responsibility to clean that up.
The oil is horrible.
Horrible. And we're gonna build a brand-new building
Right across the
and
street.
have an oil slick in front of it. So I think in the maintenance plan, somewhere along the line, on a yearly basis, clean that up. And it's both on Capitol and it's on Court Street also.
How do you clean up oil from a street like that? I don't know.
A lot of bags of oil dry.
Mayor, you
Yeah.
don't see a lot of the bio-fueled or electric buses come in Pekin either. You go to Peoria, you'll see them. They don't come down here. I'm not saying, maybe they just don't plan it that way, but,
Is that where
old ones or not.
is that where their drop off, their stop on that Pekin and Peoria route? When they come to Pekin,
That's
they
one
all
of
get
their
dropped
big
off
ones.
at the courthouse?
That's one of their big ones.
That's one of many. They drop off coming into town in front of Casey's, they drop in
Kroger.
front of Hope Chest. If somebody rings the buzzer and it's not a bus stop, they drop them off wherever the buzzer rings. And I'd like to get off at this corner here.
I think they go to Walmart. I think they go to Kroger.
It just seems like there's a lot of times when you see them buses stop and pick somebody up or drop somebody off, and there's no bus stop sign anywhere around. Like they're just kind of picking and choosing where they're picking people up.
Yeah, that part's true.
Mayor?
Yes.
So does anyone have any information or any kind of statistics on how many Pekin people use this service? Does anybody know?
I'm going off the last transportation meeting I was at. I know it's increased significantly. I can't remember the exact percentages, but they do provide that to us at the transportation meetings, which are like, how often are the transportation? They're every other month. They do come in and they do provide the statistics and report. And I'm, just to further on that, I'm trying to get them to give us those numbers so we can get those in the quarterly reports as well.
So this service, basically, to get down to it, is basically for low to moderate income families.
Correct.
People that do not have a driver's license that may work in Peoria.
Great.
I understand the need for us to have that. It's just, you're asking 99% of the taxpayers to pay for 1% of the users. I don't know if that's true or not, and I'm not against it, because we're supposed to help that class of people. It's just, it would be nice to have the numbers on how many ride it. Second thing is, I did have a comment from a gentleman that said a majority of riders are getting on it from Creve Coeur, Market Heights, and getting off at the Hope, what is the one on, is it the Hope Chest on 8th
On
Street?
8th, mhm.
And they're not coming into Pekin. They're using that service for the Hope Chest and getting right back on the bus and going back to
Where they're
that
from.
way. So take that as just information. That's what I was told. I'm not against it. I just wanted to bring that to light.
So can I ask, do you guys want to table this till we get some of these questions answered, or?
I can get it out to council. It's information I know they share, so they have it. I just don't have it with me on this, but I can get it out to council. But I will also remind you that we did have this conversation with Epic, because that was a concern about, they actually are working to look at the feasibility of putting a bus stop out in the Riverway Business Park. And that's been a conversation we've been having for some time, is they've been asking for a bus stop out there.
And another business that we were just out,
Yeah.
and
So
Josh has actually had conversation with the bus department that they know that we want to stop out there.
So I believe it's needed. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
I believe it's
I
needed
understand,
for
yeah.
this people that use it. I just question how we pay for it, basically.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, years ago, did the city actually have a stake in that? And then we were told we couldn't do both the school buses and that? And if we're going to get rid of the school bus, is there an option for Pekin to run something like that? I mean, that's in the future, but that's what I was told by a council member years ago.
Oh,
Is
I
that
don't-
true?
So
I don't know.
the question that came up with that was, yes, we did used to have the municipal bus,
We did.
from my understanding.
That's true.
But I will tell you right now, the cost of just one bus far exceeds the $210,000 we're paying for
I don't
right
doubt
now.
that.
Yeah, it'd almost be like trying to go back into the garbage business. Those numbers have increased so substantially.
Yeah. Okay.
So who determines where we do put a bus stop at around Pekin? Who makes that decision?
I think we do, based on the asks. We look to see, how's that going to affect our costs. We determine, I think they look at like the number of potential riders, how's that going to have an impact on a business. The reason we were looking at it is we knew that they were going to be bringing 200 jobs, approximately 200 jobs with Epic. You have some other business that's going to be coming to the area as well. So we were looking at, what's that ridership going to look like and how's that going to increase? So we have had that conversation. I don't know if they've got the numbers back to Josh quite yet, but I know that he was talking to CityLink on what that would look like.
So I think it says in here somewhere that Peoria Mass Transit are the ones responsible for all the material and concrete and whatever else you need to build these bus stops, and then the city's responsible to maintain them. So who's making the decision when we put a new bus stop in, whether there's a shelter there or not? Since they're the ones supposed to pay for those.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I haven't.
We got a lot of bus stops around town that don't have shelters.
We do.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
paid for with grants.
And
Well, there is
it might
grant money,
be
that
simply
part's true.
because of the maintenance on the bubbles or whatever they had up there, and some of the uses and things, some of that's kind of impacted some of the decisions. But I think we have a collaborative conversation on like what that looks like. I think some of the, like over here, I think that was part of some grant they had at some point in time.
There has been grant money, but are you finished?
Yeah, I'm
I have a
done.
question for Simon. So, out of the, we're supposed to be getting a $2.88 million grant for Broadway between 14th and Parkway. Is a new bus stop shelter in part of that? I know sidewalks were,
Right, and that's a great question, and I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll find out if
Okay.
that's included in that as well.
that would be great.
Yep,
I
I'll
appreciate
let you
that.
know.
I will tell you, I've been at Starbucks very early in the morning and seen the CityLink bus pull up at that intersection and seen 5 or 6 people get off the bus and walk across the street to Steak and Shake and to other places where they work. They work there. They're taking the bus to work.
Well, it's like Jake said, Mr. Fletcher said, it's not that he's against it. We just want some of these questions answered. Yeah, okay.
I think as part of this overall thing, we need to find out how many bus stops we got, where are they, how many bus stops don't have a shelter, because I can tell you, in reference to the one that Karen's talking about, by McDonald's and everything else,
Yeah.
stand out there when it's raining and watch what happens to those people. There's no place for them to go.
Right.
And that's one of many places in town. The other challenge I'm going to throw out to CityLink, why do we have to have such huge buses? Now, I hate to use short bus scenario, but why don't we have smaller buses? I know they've got a fleet, but maybe looking forward, you know, we're tearing up the roads. Those things are not light. And maybe it's
And
just a
they're-
challenge to find out.
They're big.
Do they have smaller buses? I know the numbers that are in here, I did the math. You don't need a huge bus to haul what they're hauling. So, just as a thought. And I'm like Jake, yes, we need to do this, but let's provide the best service we can provide and show the people we're concerned. We don't want you standing out in the rain and the snow. We'll give you some cover. So,
Okay. So, I guess if there's no other questions, council, take your vote, please. The motion does pass 6-0 with one abstain. Is that, do you abstain again, Mr.?
Yeah, I did, because I asked for that information, and I wasn't going to vote on this until I get it, so.
Okay, I understand. I was going to say after we voted here, I know that not just myself, the rest of the council would deeply appreciate some of those questions being answered. Yeah, thank you. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.5, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that resolution number 337-25/26, authorizing the purchase of school bus radio airtime with Radilink Incorporated be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Abel and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to pay the annual renewal invoice for the airtime for the school bus radios provided by Radilink, Inc. It will cover the 24-25 school year, which is September 1st, 24 through, is that, I don't know if that's the
I don't think these dates are
correct
right.
date, 8/31/25. It covers 110 radios on the buses within the department and at the schools. The switch to Radilink, Inc. was approved last year with resolution number 36-23/24. A copy of that is in the packet. The purchase of annual airtime is associated with the radios procured through the RFP process. It should be noted that this invoice includes a 13% sales tax. While the city is exempt from sales tax, it is subject to the simplified municipal telecommunications tax, which is the tax collected by the vendor on this invoice. And I think, again, there was some questions with Eric on the financial impact. The information didn't save over.
Right, I am not sure exactly what happened with the financial impact here. $35,000 was budgeted for this item, and when I look at Exhibit A, the actual amount in question is $28,589 for the year, not the $32,815.20 that we've seen previously. So, my apologies for that, but not sure exactly what happened.
Okay.
and the dates are incorrect because the invoice spells out, like Councilmember Phillips, September 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2026. So it's either a posting thing or a typo or whatever. So again, let's make it right.
There's a couple, I'm just going to say there was a couple issues because I actually had to change something the other day in the computer that it wouldn't change. So there was something going on where it was getting saved by staff and then that's not what was showing up. So I don't know if there's some glitch going on with it. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, our city clerk just mentioned something today. She put something on here and it didn't take it, so must be a little issue.
Would it be appropriate to move to amend the resolution? Third whereas, the annual airtime should be 25-26 school year, covering the period from, look at the thing to get it right, September 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2026.
I think
And
that
that
would
may
be.
be why it's, I'm sorry if it's out of order, but that may be why it's coming in a little bit cheaper. It's a smaller period. Yeah, it's only 10 months.
Mr.
So,
Vasselli,
I
what's
move
your
to-
opinion?
I move to amend
Yeah.
the resolution.
And that's okay, I just need a second if somebody's going to amend it.
Second.
Okay, so we have an amendment on the floor to correct the dates.
So the amendment to correct the dates, it's a motion and a second is,
Motion was made by Ms.
not-
Phillips and second by Mr. Nutter.
yeah. It is debatable to the extent that the amendment is appropriate, but it is obviously germane to the overall legislative enactment.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and make the amendment, get it. So we need to take a vote on the amendment of correcting the date.
Madam Mayor, we're going to vote on that, then I have a comment after that, if that's okay.
You want to wait for the comment?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Do we do a roll call, or do I just have us take our votes?
You could do a roll call. Okay. Oh, you could do electronic voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, council, take your vote for the amendment. Peg, thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Motion passes 7-0 for the amendment. Now, any other questions? And I'm going to start with Mr. Nutter. He says he has a question.
Thank you. So what happens with the radios when the buses go away? Who do those radios belong to? This company, RaddyLink or RaddyLink or whatever?
We're going to have a conversation with the school when we
Roll it
transition
over possibly?
Yeah. You and I had the conversation. I'm going to have that conversation with them. If
Well, I'm
they're-
having a
They're
conversation.
going to want to keep that, or if they're going to, at which time we'll figure out how many they need, and then I'm certain some will probably go out. I
Sure.
think we own them, so I think we could put them out like the Gov deal or see what the options are.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 7-0. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.6, please.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 338-2526, authorizing the city manager to enter into a service agreement with Schooley Mitchell Services for fuel purchase cost reduction.
Second?
Motion made by Ms. Phillips and second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. In front of the council is a resolution to enter into a service agreement with Crystal Creek Advisory Group / Schooley Mitchell Services for cost reduction focused on fuel procurement for the city of Pekin. This service would be used in lieu of a traditional RFP process. Schooley Mitchell's service offers in-depth analysis of our current fuel expenses, followed by an active bids negotiation process to achieve the lowest price. This active process has the potential to realize greater savings than a passive RFP process. The fee for this service is based off of the amount of savings achieved compared to our previous costs. If approved, the process will begin with a detailed review of the city's fuel costs over the past 6 months to establish a baseline. Once a baseline is established, Schooley Mitchell will begin contacting vendors for initial quotes, followed by negotiation with each vendor to achieve their lowest price for a 3-year contract with the city. Schooley Mitchell will then present the lowest price bid to the city for acceptance. After the acceptance by the city, Schooley Mitchell will continue to monitor each invoice to ensure compliance with the contract by the vendor and to ensure there are no irregularities. The cost of this service is 50% of the savings realized, calculated by subcontracting the new price from the previously established baseline. And Simon can answer some questions, and I believe Joe Hitchcock is here if there's any questions from him as a representative of Schooley Mitchell.
Okay, council. Oh boy, Mr. Nutter.
Simon, thank you very much for meeting and try to resolve some of the questions I had. Did you get an answer about the baseline?
No, I hadn't had a chance.
That's my question.
Yeah.
How do we establish the baseline? What period you looking at? What's your thoughts? And maybe you can come to the podium and explain that, because the baseline number is a key factor as you move forward, I think, in my...
Yes, sir. Good evening, Council, Madam Mayor, Councilman, staff. Yeah, the baseline number is, I've actually already pulled a lot of that information off the publicly available stuff. I can see your monthly spends from what goes through your budgeting and your billing. You guys are sitting about 20,000, give or take a couple of $100 a month, and that's where that baseline comes from. We like to take the largest percentage that we possibly can because it eliminates seasonal issues as far as pricing goes, because you guys don't have a contract price currently. You guys are paying seasonal fluctuations, so in the,
Perfect.
so in the summertime during vacation season, the price goes up, and then during the winter, when it gets cold out and they use more energy, the price goes up, so it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. So we'll take a minimum of 3 months, we like 6 months. In your case, we can go all the way back to the first of the year and pull those invoices. Then we'll average that over that time frame. So we'll take the number of times you've used fuel, divide that, or add all that up, and then divide that with the simple average, and that'll end up being our baseline for a baseline monthly fuel usage. If that answers your question, Councilman Nutter.
Kind of.
Okay.
So are you going to look at 2 years and do an average, or 3 months, 6 months? I keep hearing multiple numbers, and those multiple numbers can affect the baseline, obviously.
Right.
And I know you're going to save us money, you're going to make money, but...
That's the idea.
That's the name of the game. I get that. I'm just concerned that we got the most accurate baseline, because you say the fluctuations in the
Right.
seasonal and everything else,
Yeah.
or you got a manufacturer goes out of business and bang, you're hit with a larger number than you had before. So that was my question to Simon also, is what's the baseline?
So I can tell you that what my home office likes is a minimum of 3 months. But I would like as much data as you're willing to provide to me to set up the biggest database that we can. I'd like to amortize that over as long a time as you're willing to provide, so we can establish that baseline.
We have to give you the
I have
the
to
information
have the invoices, so I know
Yeah.
what you're being billed and how to contract your current supplier before we put this
I
out.
think if we can, so we'll set for a year's worth of invoices to make it at least, try to rule out any major changes in the fuel market for the past, since 2-3 years ago.
And
I
you'll
think a
cover
year
the
would be,
seasonal.
a year you go through all the seasons. I mean, I would think that'd be a minimum 1 year.
Right,
so, too.
minimum year.
Yeah, and my concern is I don't want to overburden staff by having them giving me document after document after
Sure.
document either. I want to save their time as much as I possibly can as well.
Absolutely.
But I
I
think a year is
appreciate that.
fair. I think that we go through the seasonal, we go through all the swings of the seasonal pricing changes.
Yeah, I
Especially
agree.
since you guys aren't on a budgeted thing and you're just kind of the ebbs and flows. I think a year is perfect.
I would agree, a year is nice. Okay.
So that's what we'll have in the contract then?
Yes, sir.
We'll do that. Okay,
Yes, sir.
excellent.
And I wanted to also mention that this vote is to just get us started to looking at things.
Yes.
This doesn't, I'm going to bring a presentation to you. Once we find that, at that point, you will decide whether or not to adopt.
Sure, we're
You'll-
setting the guidelines of what you want it, or
I'm
what's going to
just-
be in the contract.
I'm just going to start my work and be able to bring you a solid number after we do our work. The real decision gets made once you decide if you want to adopt or not.
Sure.
Moving forward.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
We do appreciate it. Thank you. Any other questions from council?
Yes, I understand 6 months or a year, and I agree a year might make more sense.
All 4 seasons.
But the figuring the cost savings based on a historical number isn't necessarily the savings that we're realizing in real time. It's just a way to measure it. Right now, does our fuel consumption, the numbers that we'd be using to establish our base, does it include the school buses?
Yes.
It does right now, yes.
So in that case, that would be to our favor when we're not paying for the school buses anymore.
Well, before we go there, that would be a conversation I'm having with the school district, because if they're still working out of our facility, it would only make sense that they could gas up, and they're going to reimburse us for that. So that would still be a savings passed on to the taxpayer.
Right.
If we get a more reduced price.
So yes, it
But-
does help us.
Well, not so much does help us or does, but my theory being that if you base your use on having this use, and then we drop, I don't know how much fuel the school district eats of all of our fuel. But let's say they do a third of our fuel. And he bases our 12 months on the 100% of the fuel. We drop off a third of our fuel use. He could save us a lot of money, but he's not getting any credit for it because our costs, well, yeah, we're saving that. It's gone. We're not spending it, or vice versa. It bothers me that it's just $1 and not a level of like consumption. There's nothing in here we change our uses and our use goes up or way down. It's not built into the contract. It's just based on how much we used to spend.
Well, that's kind of like your Ameren bill. How much you use is based on.
No, if the base is the base is based on the dollars
Oh,
we
your
spent.
base, excuse me. Okay.
And it's on the dollars we spent, not on the gallons we consumed. So as long as we consume the same gallons, then having a base based on dollars is comparable. But if we change our usage and we use considerably more, considerably less, then we're not necessarily saving per gallon, we're just saving in total.
But we are saving per gallon if the price is going up.
But we don't know what the price would be because he's going to pre-negotiate the prices.
Okay.
And we're not basing the savings on what the current market is, we're basing it on what the market was
Okay.
when we adopted
Okay.
it.
I get what you're saying.
This was one of the things after we met before, I did get some community feedback on, that they were very concerned about this base comparison.
Mr. Grimm?
Just, Councilwoman Phillips, so we're just talking, but it will be essentially the invoice that we will receive from him will be a by unit price. So establishing the baseline at whatever it is, $4, if we say it's $4 per gallon that we're paying now, and then whatever the savings, to make it easy, if it's $3 per gallon, it would be the 50 cents that he would get.
So we're not doing it based on what we spend over 6 months, we're doing it based on the per gallon price we paid over 6 months?
Correct. Because I could obviously see that issue with the whole sum.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Okay.
So if this passes, when do you think you're going to have some numbers coming back to us? Tomorrow? Yes.
Yeah.
The process typically takes 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
I'm anticipating that to be a lot quicker in your case since you own all your infrastructure. Typically, if I was to look at doing a bulk fuel process, you would have a bulk fuel storage tank that was either leased or rented from whoever the provider is.
Exactly.
Since you own all your own infrastructure, essentially I'm looking for a guy with a truck to haul fuel. So it should be a lot quicker process, but
We'll see.
4 to 6 weeks is the average.
All right. Thank you.
I thought you were going to say because we were so organized with our paperwork.
Well, you are too. I've already talked to Simon, he showed me a lot.
I know.
top-notch.
We appreciate our staff. Okay. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-1. We thank you very much for the help. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.8, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 4334-2526, approving a second amendment to the Tax Increment Financing District redevelopment agreement with Terry and Bailey Gambetti.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Phillips and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. Terry and Bailey Gambetti have made significant progress on the renovation of their building at 437 Court Street. They have turned in expenses for payment of their $55,000 incentive per the TIF agreement. However, the agreement as amended states the project should be completed by August 28, 2025, and their contractor is waiting on materials that are expected to arrive after that deadline. This ordinance extends the project completion date to December 31st, 2025, just in case there are any additional delays. This ordinance also adds Gambetti Girls LLC to the agreement, since that is the LLC they created to pay the expenses for the building. And Josh is available for any further questioning.
Okay. You know, I have a question for Ms. Gambetti, if she wouldn't mind. So I didn't even ask you when you were up here talking, what business is it, or are you at liberty to say?
My partner and I have not, we've discussed it, but we have not agreed on it as yet. We just really got done on Friday.
Okay.
We've got a few other things that we're working on, but minor. Anything that brings more traffic to downtown. We want retail. We don't want office space. We want whatever the best option is for downtown to succeed.
Love hearing that.
More traffic.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I thought, I let you sit down. I didn't
I
ask.
suggest a bakery.
There you go. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 7-0, and that was a butcher, baker, and a candlestick maker. Thank you. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.9, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4335-25/26, approving a tax increment financing district redevelopment agreement with the Purple Frog Incorporated, doing business as Potsy's Place, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Mr. Abel. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. At the meeting on May 27, 2025, City Council approved resolution number 292-25/26 that approved the fiscal year 26 Economic Development Program funding, which set a $100,000 program budget for the Commercial Building Improvement Program to fund up to $100,000 of awards at no more than $50,000 and no more than 50% of eligible project expenses per award. Staff published the program notice on the city website and social media, and we also notified business organizations and several individuals of the program's availability. Applications were open through July 7th, and staff received 6 applications. Staff initially scored each project, and the EDAC reviewed and evaluated the scoring to make edits and ultimately a recommendation to the City Council. At its meeting on July 28, 2025, City Council reviewed the recommended grant set. One application was withdrawn completely, one was withdrawn in favor of applying for a different TIF program, and one was removed by council altogether. The remaining projects are prepared for council to vote on tonight, which total $25,000. This ordinance approves a $10,000 grant to Potsy's Place to help perform renovations to their building at 301 and 303 Margaret Street. Potsy's Place will have to provide proof of at least $20,000 of eligible expenses to be reimbursed the full grant award upon completion. And Josh is available for further questions.
Anyone have questions for Mr. Ray? Council, take your vote then. Motion passes 6-1. Never mind. I was going to say something, but motion passes. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.10, please.
Madam Mayor, I move that ordinance number 4336-25/26, approving a tax increment financing district redevelopment agreement with Fat Jack's Custom Cycles Incorporated, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Fletcher and second by Ms. Hoheimer. Once again, Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. Josh is wordy, so I'm just going to read the last paragraph. The ordinance approves a $10,000 grant to Fat Jack's Custom Cycle to help perform renovations to their building at 313 to 321 Margaret Street. Fat Jack's will have to provide proof of at least $20,000 of eligible expenses to be reimbursed the full grant award upon completion. All the rest of the information is the same as far as the resolution numbers in the May 27th meeting.
Thank you. Council. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 6-1. Chair would now entertain a motion for 8.11, please.
Madam Mayor, I move ordinance number 4337-25/26, approving tax increment financing district redevelopment agreement with TCRC Incorporated be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter and second by Ms. Phillips. Once again, Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to approve a $5,000 grant to TCRC to help perform renovations to their building at 33 South 4th Street. TCRC will have to provide proof of at least $10,000 of eligible expenses to be reimbursed the full grant award upon completion. Of note, TCRC's original project was to perform renovations to their parking lot, but they requested to change that after the EDAC's recommendation based on the committee's discussion. Staff believes EDAC would be in favor of this change. TCRC is requesting $26,000, but staff is only presenting the $5,000 as recommended by EDAC.
Okay. Council. Mr. Nutter.
This one I do have.
Okay.
Forgot,
go.
it's red light up top. I do not feel comfortable in giving not-for-profit or nonprofits TIF funding. They pay zero into the TIF fund. We are trying to, and I'll ask Josh, did we get any verification one way or the other, whether through Jacob and Klein is any state statute, state regulations that says we can or can't?
You certainly can do a TIF agreement with a not-for-profit, as long as it exists in the TIF district. So this would be permissible. City councils have done it in the past, but your point's well taken. You know, if you're looking at it from a return on investment perspective, what is the ROI for this kind of project? And that's for you all to determine.
I just struggle with, there's no money going into the TIF from not-for-profits, and I'm going to vote no on this one.
Any other council? I think that TCRC, excuse me.
I was just going to add one thing,
Okay.
just for consideration. I 100% don't disagree with you, but you also have to look at the services provided to the community.
I was just going to say
And the
that.
return on that there, because there's a lot of not-for-profits out there, but they do provide a service, and it'd be similar to like your Center for Abuse. and some of the others out there. So, and I'm just speaking from that. There's just different perspectives and different ways to take into consideration.
And I don't disagree with that, but they just bought the building. They saved a lot of money by consolidating. Then all of a sudden, we're going to do something with the building. So
And I don't
I
disagree.
understand both sides
I just think
of it.
it's important
Yes.
for the people who are watching and the community to understand that when we do these, like the Center of Abuse, even though they're a not-for-profit, it's what's the service they provide that, because there is some investment return on that, because it serves special needs and certain things to a lot of people in this community.
And what we did for that was pretty much gave them the property. So there was no dollars spent yet. May come. So, okay.
I just feel that they do give a lot to the community for the people that work there. And it is very meaningful for many, many people. So, Mr. Abel.
This is just maybe off the wall way of looking at something, but those people work there. They get paid, am I correct?
Correct.
They spend money in our
I've been asked many times, do we know what we spend a year on homeless in this town? Everything, from start to finish. Not really sure. So, they're not working, obviously. They're not getting a paycheck that I know of, but a lot of free stuff.
Mhm.
So, like John said, there's different perspective ways
Right.
to look at things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
just throwing it out.
I'm-
Don't disagree.
Yeah. Okay. Council, take your vote, please. Motion passes 4-3. We have now come down to item 6.5, which we are labeling as 8.12. Mr. Hilst, I think, wait a minute, Mr. Nutter, I'm going to turn that one over to you.
Yes, thank you, that was
Mhm,
mine.
Yes,
I'm just going to start this out with saying this whole insurance thing, Max Min, insurance in general, is a big black hole.
yes. Wait a second, don't I have to have a second?
You
before
have to have a motion.
You got to read it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
He was going into it. He was
I
going to
was
town.
ready to fire both bullets. Madam Mayor, I move that we receive and file 2025 minimum, maximum additional billing be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter and second by Ms. Phillips. Do you want to discuss anything first, Mr.
Let the meeting commence.
Mr. Dossie, or is he going to go right into it? Mr. Dossie.
Go ahead, if you have some input, I'd be glad to take that
No,
under consideration.
I'm just going to remind council that this was a program that we were in. We are no longer in that program. And I would just remind everybody that I guess we're kind of paying for, I don't know, call it the sins of the past, but there's just claims that were out there during the period of time that we were in this that are coming due or settling. That's where these bills generate from. It was significantly less than in the past. We anticipate they will continue to be less until all those matters are settled.
Okay.
And I will just leave it at that and
I don't disagree.
punch away.
Mr. Nutter.
I do not disagree one bit. It's the fact when we sat up here as a council, excluding a couple, every time we asked a question about this, we could never get a real clear-cut answer. So here we are, 4 years later, we get a bill, and we get a breakdown of everything that went on. So my thing is, what happens moving forward? Because we really didn't budget any money for this, and it's back in 2021. So moving forward, how much we got hanging out there in 22, 23, and can we be better at what we're doing? And along with that, on the financial side, what are we doing on the safety committee or safety get-together so we don't have this? And I know moving forward in 2024, it doesn't have that min-max ask, let's say, but it still has workman comp things in there. Can we do anything better to help that, to reduce the cost, reduce the injuries? We've talked about it. I've never heard any feedback of what we're doing to make it better.
Sure. So back in '23, we reinstituted the safety committee. They've been meeting, staff's been meeting, IML, RMA, they show up, they provide training, they've been providing a lot of things. I think Shelley can speak a little bit to it. I believe our claims have decreased. Is that? Yeah.
But we're definitely doing things like we've recently implemented an incident review for our general unit, our bus department, which is a big number of our claims that we received, and that came out of the safety committee. We review the claims every week, talk about ideas, trainings, things that we can do to focus on those and improvements.
And that's my question. I know you have it, but it's not communicated to council. What are we doing to try to get better? And I love that. I'm glad that's what we're doing, because that's the intent and purpose. Our assets are the people. We don't want them hurt and, forever, obviously. And just like the gentleman that spoke about the Park District, we know that goes on, milking the process and everything else. So I guess part of it is communication. Part of it is doing better to address the budgeting side. Where are we at? Do we know where we are in certain years? I think Eric may have some numbers, so feel free.
Before you go, Eric, I'll just say the years that we still have open are 2018, 2021, and 2022. And then once we close out those 3 years for min-max, we'll be done with min-max.
Could you read those numbers again?
2018, 2021, and 2022 are what we'll see going forward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, none of us sitting up here have anything to do with that money. We hired, or the city hired, an agency, a firm. They do all of the investigations, and they do all the awards and the settlements. Is that correct? All we can do is say, we've got a bill here, we have to pay. We had nothing to do, there's nothing that any of us can do about that. We've got a bill that's came due, but those judgments are made by the company that we ultimately hired, or somebody ultimately hired years ago. And what they say, when they do their investigations and settle, we get a bill. So it's not like the council members up here have absolutely anything to do with that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's standard pursuant to what the workman comp statutes are that we're required to do. I don't think they're making decisions other than what they are obligated to make. I don't think that we.
And I'll say
we
that
already pay for the service through them, the legal and the representation on these claims.
Right, we don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, our portion of the bill is based off of what the actual settlement amounts are that's given by an arbitrator or a judge or.
That's
or
what I'm getting
whoever.
at. So
Yeah.
none of us, we can't budget for this. We don't know what was coming.
We don't know. And
we just get a
don't
bill.
know- Yeah, and we don't know when it will
Yeah,
settle.
you're
I
right.
mean, you had one, I think there's a couple or one that's open 2018. We
Right.
don't know when that'll settle.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear with the public so they understand what
Yeah.
we're talking about here.
But you could budget for it, even if it's an arbitrary number. We've done that before. We don't really know how much Mr. Vasselli's bill's gonna be, but we're gonna put in there $750,000. I mean, we could arbitrarily put a
Yes.
number in there. Not
We
to
can
pick
get
on
an
Mr.
estimate.
Vasselli, who's,
And this
but,
is,
And we can get an estimate, and our FY '27 estimate's $300,000. So we already have that. So I think Eric's going to talk to what it might look like going forward.
thank you, Shelley.
Mr. Dabrowski.
Appreciate it. And this is what the problem with the min-max program is, because if you're consistently at the max and you're budgeting
The minimum.
less than that, then you are basically delaying those expenses into a future fiscal year. So that's why in calendar year 2023, which is fiscal year '24, the city of Pekin no longer participates in that min-max program, which, so it'll get more traditional, and of course, we're out for RFP and we'll go through that, but a more traditional insurance policy where you're going to see an increase in the premiums for that given year. But that said, you will see less, you won't see those deferred premiums that we've seen with this program, which just, again, kicks the can down. That said, you're still going to have some of that old liability as we transition off. In talking with Adrian and Risk, there's about $300,000 that I think of potential. I think that was the figure that we looked at. So in addition to what we have here tonight, maybe an additional amount of that.
So to hit on what you just said a second ago, so we're no longer in this min-max program, and we've got an RFP out for risk management insurance. So who do we currently have for that?
IMLRMA, Illinois Municipal League Risk Management Association.
Was that just something that we defaulted back to when we got out of this min-max, or?
It was a program they offered. Right.
Okay.
The min-max was a cost-saving program that they had, and
We had too many high
Yeah.
claims.
we had too many high claims.
And that's, to Jake's point, he's absolutely right. We up here don't have anything to do with all these payments. But what can be done is the safety committee can sit down and go through all those claims and come up with some ideas on how to stop some of the activities that are creating those claims. That's what can be done.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of room for improvement on that from some of the things I see around town.
Can I share another example that came out of safety committee that we did that is an example of that? So
Sure.
for our solid waste drivers, like, they get hurt. IML came, did a follow behind. They followed them for a couple of hours. They're working on a training for them. We talk about that every month at safety committee. They did it last month. So they give us an update. They're planning on conducting that training. So that's just an example that we are doing things to improve safety.
And they did that on the solid waste trucks?
Yep, they followed them.
And that's interesting, because about 3 days ago, I passed one going down Court Street, right there in front of McDonald's, where all that construction's at. The guy driving was on the right side of the cab, standing up, and the other guy was standing on the step, hanging off the passenger mirror, holding on to the mirror. Those are the kind of things I see, and then you just go and look at all these work comp claims, and you just shake your head. Or I do. That's all I have, thank you.
I had
Ms. Phillips?
I noticed that this payment is coming out of the reserves in the city insurance fund. How much do we have roughly in our reserves?
Insurance fund, I think it was about 2.7 as of June, in the net cash position.
I do want to, were you finished? I'm sorry. I do want to reiterate, these were negotiated before, we had anything to do with it. And this is how insurances seem to go. You have to clean up I guess you want to call it a mess. You have to clean up the things that, were finally negotiated and finally be able to move forward. So this is what we're voting on.
Well, it's already been paid, so it's
I
a
know, yeah.
moot point for that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk to Eric about two of them that are in the report that say open, because I don't understand the open terminology. Is it really open? Because it's close to 170 maybe? How much?
7 years, wasn't one of them? Didn't it say happened 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And it's
happens
still open.
many
It's like-
times,
I'd be
many
happy to
times.
discuss it.
Yeah.
So, and so we're voting on this that we already paid, but yet in the year we're looking at, there's still two open ones in there. So
Yeah.
is that going to come back maybe 2-3 years from now and say, well, here we are in 2028?
It might,
We
very
finally
easily.
paid it.
Yeah. Very
And they
easily.
told us they think there's potentially another 300,000.
100,000.
Yeah, Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about the reserves.
Well, I'm like you, I don't know where you get reserve funds from an insurance fund, because that's another discussion.
Yeah.
How do you, Mr. Vasselli, maybe this question is for you. How are you even legally allowed to file a work comp claim if you're off duty when you get hurt? We've got a claim in there, and I'm not trying to throw people under the bus, so I'm not gonna mention names, even though they're listed. But there's a claim in there, and the description says, was off duty getting ready to mow grass. Doesn't give the description of the injury, but it clearly states that that individual was off duty. $150,000 claim.
Councilmember, I would just like to look into that a little bit more before I
Okay.
answer that specific question. Well, I do understand.
But there's situations where you can do that?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, if you're preparing for.
As an
work to go
employee.
Your duty, if you're preparing to go to do what your normal services and there's an injury on there, you can file a claim. Now, again, it's more, I really want to look into the issue before
All right.
we weren't
'Cause I
handling
really
this.
I am curious how that,
Yeah, fair.
that's all about.
It's a very reasonable request, and I will see you in 2 weeks, and I will have an answer for you in those 2 weeks.
Appreciate that.
I will not be counting my massive amount of money that I get for Mr. Nutter.
Straight from Mr. Nutter.
I got a stray there, Mr.
Hey, checks in the mail, so be on the
There
lookout.
goes the Lambo.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Council, take your vote. Motion passes 7-0. Chair would now entertain a motion for 6.6, which is now 8.13. And I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Hilst.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that ordinance number 4331-25/26, amending Pekin City Code, Chapter 4, Article 3, Division 9, regarding off-street parking and loading, be approved.
Second.
Mr. Dossi, it is 6.6.
I'm just double checking, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion made by Mr. Hilst and second by Mr. Abel, excuse me. Okay. Are you ready for this? It's 6.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Dossi.
I'll let Nick talk about this, but this is in regards to the off-street parking and loading. I'll let him go ahead and discuss this a little bit.
Perfect.
So the purpose of the text amendment for you is to address the needs to store trailers in residential areas. Some of our older properties don't have adequate space for off-street parking of trailers. We did review other municipalities' ordinances, and this is ultimately what we've come up with. The ZBA did review it, did not add any changes to it, and unanimously approved it. It does allow for parking of trailers in the front yard or the driveway. Trailers can be no longer 20 feet in length. Camping trailers are allowed in the front driveway. Again, they can't be longer than 20 feet in length. They can't be connected for extended periods of time. Nobody can obviously live in them. Flatbed trailers are allowed as long as they don't extend into the right-of-way, and again, they're not 20 feet, longer than 20 feet.
Council.
Yeah,
Oh,
and again,
excuse
yeah,
me.
flatbed trailers, you can't keep scrap and junk
Oh.
like that on, correct?
Okay.
I did have a conversation with Nick about this, and we did talk about, if you live in a subdivision that has an HOA, those rules preclude the city of Pekin. So if an HOA
Glad you brought that
says,
up.
you cannot have trailers or boats or whatever parked in your driveway, that is the rule of that subdivision, so that they can't, no one can come forward and say, well, the city of Pekin said I can, and I'm going to. So I wanted to make that clear, that if you live in an HOA, in a subdivision with an HOA, you have to follow their rules.
Right, and again, it would be the HOA's responsibility to enforce that.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Mr. Flip? Ms. Phillips?
I know that the trailer parking first came up several months before I was running for office. And I don't really understand how the law has changed. People were getting tickets for parking their trailers somewhere. And the law was you couldn't put it in your front yard. And the law is still you can't put it in your front yard. Were we prohibited from parking them on the driveways previously?
Correct, yeah. So previously, you're only allowed to have a boat or a boat trailer on your driveway.
So it was in here because it wasn't listed.
So now you can put a trailer in your drive.
So if I got a ticket before for my trailer, would I have gotten a ticket for parking my trailer in my driveway?
If you would have parked a trailer in your driveway previously, yes. If a complaint was received about that trailer and the code enforcement officer responded to it, yes, a citation could have been issued.
It also has to clear the sidewalk, right? It cannot hinder.
Correct, it cannot encroach into the city right away, be it over the curb or into a sidewalk.
Right.
This sidewalk is a state statute as well.
I'm sorry to be dense about this, but where in the law before was it illegal to park a trailer in your driveway?
Thank you, Madam Council Member. Just addressing that, if you're asking about pages about 278, 279, that they don't show the red lines through the strike-throughs, is that what you're addressing?
Mine's on Exhibit A is what I was looking
Yeah,
at.
Exhibit A, and it's page 1 of 3 and 2 of 3 of Exhibit A.
Yeah.
I believe that there's been different iterations, so the red line would not have caught up with it because the red line is done off the last iteration. And I think in prior iterations to that, there were the boats. But this, again, I do have a great deal of affection towards the city. This does predate me, but that's my assumption, if that makes sense. But I know what you're saying. What you're saying is, we use underlines and strike-throughs to show what's stricken and what's added. And the evidence, the procedural or forensic evidence doesn't evidence the issue that our director just talked about. I just think that is more of a formality than anything. We could add it to the minutes that was the state of the law, even though it was not reflected in Exhibit A, pages 1, 2, or 3. And we're not trying to do anything, untoward or salacious here. This is perfunctory, and it's just trying to get the procedural steps through here.
But the reason why I'm harping on this is my sense was that people were upset that they were getting tickets because they didn't have a good place to put their trailers. And so they were parking them next to their driveway, and they're getting a ticket because next to their driveway is in front of their house or in the front yard or in the setback. And I don't think for those people who are having trouble finding places to put it, that's saying, well, you can put it on your driveway, that the law doesn't show that that's changed anything for those people who were currently parking in a place that was illegal under this. So how many of the tickets that we were issuing were people who were parking in their driveways and not in the street or in some other place?
I don't have that number.
Yeah, I just sense that this is one of those changes where people are still going to be getting tickets for things that they were complaining about. Why is this code affecting me this way? And now we've changed the code, and I don't think there's going to be any relief for those trailer users. I don't have any problem with the way it's written. I'm not sure that the people who complained are getting their needs addressed.
Well, I think some of it too is a safety issue. I'd much rather you have your trailer in your driveway, nice and neat, than out in front where you can get it swiped by a car. I've had some contractors that work here in town that have complained to me that they could not park their trailer on the street or in their driveway because of the previous ordinance that we're trying to change here. So now they had to get off work, take their trailer somewhere out of town, park it, get a ride to work the next day, pick up their trailer, go to work. I think this is a very good thing for the citizens.
Any other council?
One of the biggest things that I see driving through town after, let's say, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, people bring their trailers back, and it's more of a line of sight issue at a stop sign than it is anything else. There's a couple spots, I almost got hit because you can't see around all the trailers, the trucks, the vans. This allows them to park some of that, maybe not all of it, at least on a hard surface somewhere. And if I'm not mistaken, Nick, isn't there an ordinance already that you can't have a trailer parked on the street between a certain hours, like
That's
sunset
correct. That's
to
correct.
sunrise?
Sunset to sunrise.
So, and I don't know if we've really issued that many tickets per se, but I think it's worth taking a look at. And the other thing, if we pass this, is it a 10-day moratorium before it goes into effect? Or does it go into effect immediately?
Excellent question, Councilmember Nutter, Madam Chair, if I may
Please.
address it. No, it's a 10 days, and we have the language in there that says as a matter prescribed by law when it comes into effect, but anything that's punitive and penal in nature, there's that cooling off period, right?
Correct.
Now, we obviously we try to be very reasonable about these things.
Right.
But yeah, so to answer your question, yes, 10 days, and, obviously we could do additional research too.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hills? Oh,
I'm sorry.
So just to clarify, Nick, this is just, basically, the changes in here are just basically for front yard driveways, correct?
It's for any approved parking surface.
Okay. But I mean, it has nothing to do with the street parking, right?
So parking in the street would still be, if it's sunset to sunrise, would still be a citable offense.
Right, okay. So this also includes campers and motorhomes, which aren't being changed. So I would like to make an amendment to this ordinance, and I would like to add language that states that campers and motorhomes and travel trailers are not allowed to be stored or parked or used on city-owned property. I would like that language to be in here.
On city-owned?
Correct.
Then how do they drive on the street? Is it for, are you
That's a
saying-
city right-of-way, in my opinion. I'm talking city-owned
Okay.
property.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear.
Right.
Well, this ordinance is regarding off-street parking and loading.
what if it's used for a work at a business that is located there?
I mean, Madam Chair, just one thing, Councilmember brought up, a motion, there is no second. I don't know if it'll catch a second. Councilmember Hill's point is very good, and I hate to always be the bearer of bad news or the bearer, the prophet of sadness on procedure, but this did go through the Planning and Zoning Commission to get here, and what the recommendation was as written. And then so we would be then taking that and amending it in part from what was written from the commission that agreed to this unanimously, correct?
Correct.
I'm not trying to dissuade you from that at all. I just procedurally, we would have to track it that way. Like if we approved this and then made a recommendation to examine the other issue, we could do that. And then, or we could, I mean, there's other options.
Yeah.
Okay? Because this comes from a committee, the genesis of this is a petition to change the laws from another committee that acted on it. We are now taking that amendment and kind of twisting it halfway, if that makes sense, if we do adopt this change. Is that fair, council member? Are you following or no?
Well, I'm following what you're saying, but in the past, anything that comes from that zoning board, which is considered an advisory committee,
100%.
we've always been told when they send things to us, we can always tweak them or put conditions attached to whatever it is they're recommending, and we've done that in the past.
Well, let's go in reverse order. So, conditions, absolutely, no question, we could add conditions on there. I think the idea of tweaking, and I really don't want, I don't want to play semantics, but I don't know if this is a tweak necessarily. I think this is a material change, and I'm sorry to do this, but I would ask Nick for his opinion on that, whether this is a material change and what the procedural history at the zoning board was with regards to this specific issue, because it may have been addressed. And I think I owe it to all of you to hear if this was addressed, not addressed, or omitted, like we're going to talk about these 5 things and one of the things wasn't addressed. If we're going to go on there, and you're right, council member, this is an advisory committee. This body, the one I'm facing right now, is superior to that gives recommendations. I just want to do it the right way, if that's okay.
Okay, so let me ask this question then. If right now is not the appropriate time for me to ask for that amendment and add that language into that ordinance, because I wasn't particularly a part of the decision-making when this language was changed, that just gets thrown at us. Where do I go to get that language added into that if I don't do it up here?
Well, no, I didn't, and with respect, council member, I didn't say that. What I said was, we could approve it, and then we could also ask the board or Nick or somebody to bring that back up. So I agree with you. You have to have a right of redress. You are one of the elected council members of this board, and you have to be able to give direction, subordinate bodies. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but yes, this body has to be able to give its subordinate bodies directions to look into issues. So I'm not saying, I'm not taking that away from you. What I'm saying is, I think that this body needs to know what happened at the subordinate body from the person who's behind me to the right, and know this was talked about, this was not talked about. I think I owe it to you to have the most information given.
Okay. Well, a lot of times they bring these things to us from the very last meeting from the zoning board, so we don't have any minutes to those meetings until the next month.
I understand. I understand your issue. I also have, honestly, one of the best building commissioners that I deal with out of the municipalities that I deal with behind me, and I think he can give some light on this. We want to give as much transparency when we make decisions. That's my job. My job is to make sure that you follow the law and there's a historical record that you can implement that into there. And I think Nick being able to talk about that might be a good thing. But I defer to the chair. It's really the chair's idea. You know, I don't mean to be disrespectful, council member, but.
No, I would like for Nick to speak, if you're good with that.
I have a question.
Mr.
Can we
McQuett.
Can we do it without a second?
I mean, really, the amendment.
I'll second the motion.
Well.
Then you can have the discussion.
That's why I don't get paid the big bucks. But yeah, that's fine.
Mr. McQuett.
Hi. Yeah, so this concern issue was brought up at ZBA. There was no consensus to make a motion to add that language into the code. I don't think it's a zoning issue. I think it's a public property issue that should be dealt with that way. Again, I don't think it's a zoning issue, but if this board would like it to be changed, I would recommend that you vote no and send it back to ZBA with any recommended changes.
And remember, our next vote will be on the amendment that has been moved and seconded by the 2 council members to my immediate, or to my far right.
So a vote up.
Can I ask Mr. Hilst, what you're asking is that no boats, campers, trailers, what not be parked on city property,
City-owned property.
city-owned property?
Like the airport, for instance, that gets used as a campground sometimes on the weekends rather than an airport. If we're going to put stipulations on people's private property in front of their house and tell them they can't park a motorhome there, you certainly shouldn't be able to park one out there on the airport property, which is owned by the city.
But we're saying they can park
I
it
will
in
be
the
honest with
driving.
you, I did speak to Mr. Cruz, and he said that that is used as a tool at the airport. It is not used as a recreational vehicle. It is used to take out to different jobs. He said it is a tool, it is not used as a vacation spot.
I'm not, okay, well, I'm not even talking about one
And
specific
nobody is
one.
staying in it when it's parked at the
If I
airport.
could interject just for a moment.
Yes.
The code before you is zoning code for the corporate limits of the city of Pekin. The airport does not fall under that zoning code. So again, I think it's a policy issue. If we want to ban or keep private campers from being on city property, I think it's a policy change.
Under a different ordinance? Is that what you're saying, Nick?
Yeah. Jim?
I mean, it
Mr.
does become,
Vasselli?
it becomes a bigger issue too, because you're telling someone on their personal property, this isn't a business thing, right? We have a dichotomy and a difference between how we treat business operations and we treat personal operations, and the camper's a personal thing. It's part of your abode, right? You take your abode on the road and you go to different places. That's the whole point. And now you're telling a person that you need to not be able to use this thing that's been used or has not been used as part of your living issue and can't use your property for it. We for sure have rights over property as a municipality and a home rule unit, but it is a little bit more, it does change the issue a little bit, which is why I am, and I'm not harping on a word, but I think it's an excellent word that you used, tweak. Like a tweak is a small thing. To me, this is a larger thing. This is not what was contemplated when it came through the process. And I would just ask one thing, if there is a vote of no, that the matter gets referred back to the Plan Commission to at least weigh in on this issue. Whether this is a planning or zoning issue, the Plan Commission can weigh in on issues of public policy.
Correct.
And it's stemmed from there, so we take it back through there. Does that make sense, Councilmember, Madam Chair?
So a vote no is against the amendment that's on the floor.
Correct. The next vote that will be had, unless the motion is withdrawn, and I'm not pressing that, I'm just saying, if that motion stands, the next vote we have would be to amend it. Do we accept that amendment that was proffered by Mr. Hilst and seconded by Mr. Nutter?
Okay.
So procedurally, that's where we're at.
Okay. So.
I'd like to speak to the amendment.
Yes.
I appreciate your concern. I don't think this part of the code, what I'm reading, this isn't germane to this change we're making. It would be a policy or something we would adopt saying, on our property, we don't want strangers parking overnight in anything. Because this is specifically about how the residents use their properties that we're changing the law for right now. So I'm not opposed, but I will vote against the amendment.
So I have a comment also, if we talk boats, the fire department's got a boat parked on city property.
Which
And
is,
they have two boats parked on city property.
which is
That's why-
city-owned property. The boats are owned by the city. They're not privately owned.
Good point.
Mr. Vasselli.
I'm sorry, just one more thing, and I think the word, our council member whose birthday it is today makes an interesting point about transparency. This is our, it's about transparency, it's about materiality, it's about germaneness, right? It's about, is this the contemplated matter of what we're going through, and how does it have larger ramifications going forward? As it came to us, it came this way. So it is something that I would have a little bit of trepidation about changing it midstream, if that makes sense. I think that that's one thing. An analogy could be taken to an Open Meetings Act thing, where we want to know coming into what we're talking about, and germane is the word that the case law talks about in Open Meetings Act issues. So, again, I always trust this body to make good public policy decisions, but I just want to make sure that we're doing it procedurally the right way.
I appreciate that. Keep us in line. Okay, so if council is ready to vote,
I'm going to go ahead and withdraw my motion. I'll tackle this from a different angle.
okay. We will not be voting on an amendment. Please pull that.
Yeah, and then there would be no, Madam Chair, just one more step. No one has an objection to Mr. Hills withdrawing his motion, correct? I just want to make, if we're going to do it the right way, we're going to do it the right way the whole way through.
All right. Any objections? Seeing none. Council, take your vote on the original ordinance. Let's see where we're at here. Motion passes 7-0. We have now come down to 6.7 that was pulled from consent and changed to 8.14? Is that where we're at? 12. Pardon me?
Number does stay the same,
okay,
Madam
I'm
Chair,
sorry.
but no, but for procedural purposes.
Yeah,
It would
okay.
be 814 if you were following along at home.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
But it is 6.7, and I'm
Six-
going to,
It will always be 6-7.
okay, and I am going to refer this to Mr. Hilst.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that ordinance number 4332-25/26, amending Pekin City Code, Chapter 4, Article 3, Division 11, regarding solar energy systems, be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hilst and second by Mr. Nutter. Mr. Dossi.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to have Nick go ahead and speak on this one as well.
Mr.
As
McQuinn.
well as the zoning board.
So previously, City Council has discussed amending the solar code. At the direction of City Council, I did rewrite the language of the solar energy code regarding ground mount residential solar arrays. Took that to ZBA. They unanimously approved it. The changes were essentially to make all ground mount residential solar arrays a special use in all districts. Also did some code cleanup while we were in there and included maintenance requirements for under the solar arrays.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Yeah.
Mr. Hilst.
So I went through the first two meetings from the zoning board when this was sent to them for discussion. Read through those meeting minutes. Then apparently it got sent back to them again a third time in August. We don't have those minutes, so I'm not sure what transpired to change their recommendation on this, because from the minutes of the first two meetings, it seemed to me that they were pretty adamant to leave it the way it was, and didn't feel that we should be changing language in our code based off of one complaint. And when you look at that complaint that Karen said she got, and I'm not arguing whether she got a complaint or not, I'm not saying that, but the complaint, we were told, was for glare from them solar panels into somebody's window across the street. But then when you talk to the people that do that stuff for a living and all the articles you read, basically it states they're all designed and manufactured specifically not to have a glare on them. So it kind of throws that complaint into question a little bit. And it was just to one council member. Nobody else heard anything about that. Nobody in the staff said they got any complaints. And for the first two times it went to the zoning board, they felt that the way that is currently written is covered pretty well as far as meeting all the setbacks and height requirements and things like that. That's already language that's in there. So it just appears to me The only reason we're being asked to change this is to get your neighbor's approval, whether you want to do something that's completely legal on your own property. And it's just a slippery slope that I'm not willing to take, so I'm not going to support this.
Okay. Mr. Fletcher?
So if I remember right, we were debating on this, and I did ask Nick if the way it was originally written has worked, and I believe he said yes. And then I asked how many pieces of property in the city that you could actually put ground mounted, and you said very few. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So if the original ordinance would have took care of it, and they meet everything, I'm again going back to when I voted no to get rid of the motorbikes. I don't take rights away from the citizens.
Ms. Phillips?
I have to say that I agree with the gentleman on the ends of the tables. I don't think this requires a special use. If I understand correctly, that means anytime somebody wants one of these, they'd have to come before us and get it. I think it's a lot to ask of people, quite frankly. But honestly, I don't think this is worth a whole lot of time because the whole solar thing is going to blow up soon anyway, so. I'm going to vote against it, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Any other council? Oh,
The reason I brought it forward was because while the people had the ground-mounted solar panels put in their backyard, it was an elongated backyard that went to the front yard of the street behind it. And they are right in the front yard. And that's why I felt like a special use permit, it should come before the council and have us make a decision, because after they're already there, there's no taking them back. And now that those giant solar panels are in those people's side yard, they're there for good. And there's no recourse for the neighbors. They were never informed. They never knew about it. And I just think, to be a good neighbor, if you're going to put those in or you want them in, run it by us. I mean, you got to get a permit if you want a new water heater. I don't know what the big deal is about having people come forward. If they want a solar garden, that is a huge expense. It's a huge amount of work. And we're already seeing that people are not taking care of the ground underneath the solar panels in the gardens. So I don't see any reason why it couldn't come before the council. If there's so few of them, then it shouldn't be a big problem. Thank you.
I agree. And, yeah. Is there an issue with weeds under some solar gardens?
There has been. Our city code currently would prohibit any growth over 8 inches tall, and that is a citable offense currently.
Yeah. So I think if we were to pass something like this.
No, go ahead.
I would think that if we were to pass something like this, we would at least know where they are, and we could at least keep up on it instead of, people can say that there weren't complaints, but I got plenty of the weeds. I took pictures, I brought them in to staff and said, something needs done. I mean, it's bad. So, Mr. Nutter?
Nick, jog my memory. We've gone through this so many times. The one that Councilmember Hoheimer is talking about meets all the setbacks.
It does meet all the building
And if I
setbacks.
remember right, it's more than what the setback is
I
required?
believe it's 12 feet further back than what is required.
And side to side, or on the sides?
It does meet the side setbacks, and it is further in than the code.
Okay.
And they did have problems with mowing, right?
I'm not saying that the code wasn't met. It's just Wow, have you drove by it? Pitiful. Okay. Anyone else? So 6.7, let me make sure I've got this right. A yes is to have the changes to the code, correct?
Yes.
Mr. McQuack?
Say that once again?
A yes is have the changes to the code.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Council, take your vote, please. Motion fails 3-4. We have now come down to item 9, which is any other business to come before the council. Mr. Dossi, how about staff?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder to council this week, we're meeting with council members, with Shelley, discussing the wage study. Staff has and will be starting on the budget review process here and actually later this week. I think Amy McCoy spoke to this earlier. The first clue went out today on the medallion hunt. Walmart's grand reopening is on Friday the 29th. Just a reminder, on September 1st, Labor Day, City Hall will be closed. And the Marigold is starting on Friday the 5th, and I'll look. Do you have anything? Go ahead.
I just was out there this afternoon, they signed house in September.
Yeah,
okay.
I got an email late this afternoon, and I was going to send it to you to send out to everyone.
Okay.
It's going to be September 26th.
Okay, I did not
I
get
will
that.
forward it to you, and you can get it out to all council. I didn't get it done before I came to get our pictures taken.
All right, I
Apologize.
retract that.
I know it.
Don't go.
I know. Thank you, John. Okay. Yeah.
Trent had something.
I think a couple weeks ago, I told you guys I was going to be heading to Vegas to take a look at the tower. There was a little bit of an issue with the last piece going on. They had received the wrong cables for it. They were too short to restring the ladder. It was a parts issue from Pierce. They have received it, and we will be leaving Wednesday, doing the inspection all day on Thursday. And hopefully there's little to no punch list items that were missed or not to our liking. And then we will be scheduling that engine 2 out, tower back shortly
Excellent.
thereafter. So just wanted to update you on that.
Awesome, thank you. Any other staff? Mr. Ray?
Yeah, Mayor, I have something real quick. I just wanted to give a highlight. I was notified from another colleague in a different town. The city of Pekin received national recognition in an economic development magazine source. Basically, it's a monthly newsletter, and we were the only community in Illinois highlighted for, quote, renewed investment in our community and showing strong momentum across all sectors. And then they list out a bunch of things about, potential housing developments and the Ludekin all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to give, we're doing a lot of good work here, and it's starting to get known around the country even.
Yeah, on that note, I am being contacted from a national magazine on the resilience of Pekin. So they see that we held strong, but we're bouncing back, and I'm thrilled to get that interview as well. I don't know about saying the other. Should I say the other? Yeah. Okay, so one other thing that I think the council should know. Mr. Dossi has been recognized as one of the top 10 managers. Is this the state of Illinois, or is it, I want to say it's national. I'll have to read it again. I was just like thrilled. Just look what we're doing. It's amazing. So thank you once again, Mr. Dossi, for everything you have done for our city. That doesn't come very easily. We appreciate it. Yes, we appreciate that. So that will be, I hope that will be put in his file. Any other staff? Pardon me?
Press release should go out.
It will be.
Look at that.
Yeah. Any other staff? Mr. Hilst?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Nutter?
I'm going to ask Mr. Grimm to address the cleanup day. Do you know about all those dates and what time and where?
So as just recently went out, October 4th will be the next cleanup day. Same location down at the bus department, and let me verify the times.
8 to 2.
Yep, there you go.
Is this electronics or no?
No electronics.
Thank you.
And no tires, however.
Yeah.
On the 18th of October, we are participating in Tazewell County's tire collection process.
Nice.
So, same location, but that does require a sign up ahead of time.
Oh.
There's a link, I think we'll get with Tazewell County to readjust to make sure that's working, but they can sign up to bring up to 12 tires, any size, on rim, off rim, does not matter. And we'll be collecting those at the location, then we'll move them later to Tazewell County.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Is
I
that
do,
all?
I do have one other.
Okay.
We have an upcoming event on Wednesday, September 3rd, called the Taste of Pekin. 20-plus vendors will be down there to serve up delicious food. And I have a message to pass along to staff from a couple of the event committee chairs. Thank you very much for your cooperation making this happen. And you all were great to work with. So thank you for that. And they are anticipating, guessing 2,500. There's a lot of tickets to be issued. Tickets are $1 a piece. So last year it was a good time. So hopefully citizens, staff, everybody comes out, and everybody outside of Pekin also. So
Yeah. So with that, you know, if the tickets are $1 a piece, like if you go to one, you might have to have like three of those tickets for one, for something, correct? Okay, yeah, I just wanted people to know that. Okay, very good. It was great last year. Is this going to be the third year?
second, I believe.
Okay, well, it was great last year.
And while we're on that, are you going to address Revel in Red from Saturday night?
I was
Madam
going
Mayor?
to. I was
Okay,
going to.
I'll let you do that one.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Didn't you say
Ms.
September
Phillips?
3rd?
September 3rd.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yep, Wednesday.
Yes, thank you.
As usual, especially I want to thank all of the staff. I know you've had a long day at work, and we've extended your work day by another half a day. I appreciate you staying awake this long, especially Mr. Dawsey. And
Top 10.
Recognizes top city manager.
and he slipped right through it. I know. And I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes, and I want to thank the mayor for the $100,000 that she gave me. So I'm
You're
now
welcome.
rich and I can retire and go home.
Very good, there you go. Mr. Fletcher? I have nothing. All right, Mr. Abel?
Just one thing on a positive note, the strategic planning that was held here 2 weeks ago. It was really, really good, and I was very happy and surprised to see that the public and stakeholders' goals and ideas went right along with ours, I thought. And a big shout out to Paige for all the work she did, and the food and snacks and logistics and all, so thank you, Paige.
Ms. Hoheimer?
Saturday night was a good time. It was nice to see Revel in Red.
It was.
A lot of people downtown, perfect weather, packed.
It was.
Good time.
It was. I don't know if any of you were there or not, but it was, I had said to Amy McCoy, you know, great job, and there has to be a couple thousand here, and she said several thousand. It was packed. It was a great, great night, beautiful weather. And I just want to mention something really quick. Revel in Red is an awesome band. It's a local. They really know how to draw in the crowd. But they let me get up and speak a little bit, and I did send my condolences from the city of Pekin to their band as they lost a member. But as we saw, they continued on and put on a wonderful show for the city of Pekin and everyone that was there. So I did want to do that little shout out that we did respect one of their members, the loss of one of their members. And other than that, I really don't have a whole lot more to say. So I appreciate everything. Chair would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nutter, second by Mr. Hills. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Thank you. No, I want to talk more. I bet you do.
Oh, you're out of.
So.